Everyone sees the CFA credentials and the pension career. They didn't see the decade I spent assuming I was totally fine without ever checking if I actually was. I was sitting at my desk scrolling through the industry newsfeed when I saw it. The government had just pushed out that pension age access from 55 to 57. 2 years gone, just like that. And my first thought wasn't rational. I was like, this is bullshit. How can they tell me when I can access my own pension pot? But that anger wasn't really about the government, it was about me. Because at that moment I realised something I'd been avoiding for a decade. I had no idea if I was actually on track. I'd been contributing since my 20s, I'd been doing what I was supposed to do. I worked in investments and pensions for God's sake, right? I had the knowledge. I should have had this sorted, but I didn't have a target. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what age I could actually afford to retire or what pot I needed to build, or whether my contributions would even get me there. I'd just been assuming. Assuming I was in control, assuming I'd be fine. Assuming that because I was doing something, I was probably, going to get there and it was enough. And that rule change shattered it. I felt totally out of control. I questioned whether I'd even actually achieved financial freedom. I was angry, right, at the system. I was angry at myself, at the fact I'd let a decade go by without properly knowing and checking. So I sat down and I did the work. I defined the age I want work to become optional. I calculated the income I wanted in retirement, and I worked out the pension pot I'd need to get there. Then I calculated how much I'd need to contribute every month to reach that target. And I discovered I was on track. That relief was instant. That certainty changed everything. But here's the thing I want you to understand. I only had that wake-up call because I work in pensions, and that news landed on my desk. Most people do not get that nudge. Most people are sleepwalking into retirement that won't give them the freedom, security, or choice they've been assuming is coming. Contributing is not the same as being on track. Doing something is not the same as knowing it's enough. If I spent a decade guessing, right, with a CFA qualification and a career in the industry, then what chance does everyone else have? You do not need to wait for a government rule change to force you into clarity. You just need to stop, define your target, calculate your contribution, and find out whether you're actually on track before time decides for you.